So hello everyone, after part 11 of the chapter Light, Reflection and Refraction, we are back again with part 12, and today's our topic is refraction of light, and we'll be talking about basics of refraction of light. So before we go ahead, I want you all to have a look at this next screen and just give a thought about it. So when you'll observe the images, there are three images, two GIFs. If you can observe that the pencil is moving from left to right, and when it is in the center, we can see pencil looks straight. But when it's moving on the left side, you can see there is bent observed, although the pencil is not bent, but we observe that it's bent. A similar way, when we will observe on this image which is in the center, we can see at this end, we feel that the pencil is bent, but it's not, it's the same pencil. And in the third image, when we see the arrow which is on the right side, but when the water is poured in it, it points on the left side. So why all these things are happening? That is because of the refraction of light. Just a thought that if you are trying to run, when you start running, and if you're running on a land, now what do you think if suddenly there's pool of water on the same road? Do you think you'll be able to walk with the same speed? Think about the answer. And yes, the answer is no. What will happen to your speed? Your speed will decrease. Why will your speed decrease? Because there's what we can say, there is blocking, there's water there. Now what happened when you come back out of water and again there's land? So again your speed will increase. Similar thing happen with light also. So when light passes from one medium and it goes into another medium, it experiences change in its speed and it bends. The bending of light because of the change of medium is called as refraction of light. So let's understand what exactly is the refraction. We can say when light travel obliquely. Now sometimes students get confused with this term obliquely. Obliquely means tilted at certain angle from the normal. So when light travel obliquely from one transparent medium into another transparent medium, it gets bent, and the bending of light is called as refraction of light. So basically refraction of light is bending of light when it changes medium, when it goes from one transparent medium to another transparent medium. And why it happened? It happened because of the change in speed of light as it is entering from one medium to another. Now, when we observe the diagram of refraction of light, we can see this is incident ray, the ray which is moving towards the surface, towards the boundary of two substances. Now, when we were talking about reflection, we had reflected ray, but now it is a refracted ray. So you can see here, it's bending. We can see usually student, when they draw straight line, but you can observe it's not the straight line. It's the line which is bent. From this, we can understand that when light goes from one medium to another medium, it bends at certain angle. Now, the angle made by incident ray and with the normal is called as angle of incidence. The angle made by refracted ray with normal is called as angle of refraction. And we know normal is basically the imaginary perpendicular line. And here we will have two substances. The substances could be air and water, water and oil, air and glass, water and glass, and all those stuff, which we will be discussing in the upcoming sessions as well. So before we go ahead further, let's have understanding and idea of what are the differences between reflection and refraction. On screen, if you observe, there are two images being shown. On the left side, the image is of reflection of light. On the right side, the image is representing refraction of light. So when we'll observe, we observe there are certain differences. So in this case, when we have a look at reflection of light, we have only one medium. There are no two medium. But when we see refraction, you can see that there are mention of air and water. So we have two medium. Here we have single medium. Now you can see light is getting reflected, bouncing in the same medium. So this is bouncing back of light, and this is bending of light. You can see light is bending. In reflection of light, I is equal to R. But when we talk about refraction of light, I is not equal to R. Before we get in the further details of refraction of light, we need to understand two terms. Now, we won't be writing air and water. Always we use another term called as rarer medium and denser medium. And whenever we'll be talking about denser or density, we will be using optically denser or optically rarer. Now, what do you mean by optically? This means that how much light can bend. It may happen that mass density, which is density is mass upon volume, may be equal to optical density, or it may not be equal to optical density. We will be discussing about the example in the upcoming video. So when we talk about these two terms, which we will be using from now onwards, optically rarer and optically denser means a medium in which speed of light is more is known as optically rarer medium. So if you would have seen the previous slide, air and water, out of air and water, the speed of light is greater in air. So we call it as optically rarer medium. Whereas the medium where the speed of light is less, we call it as optically denser medium. So example of denser medium is water. So you can see here in the diagram, more dense medium is water and less dense medium is air. So light is going from denser medium to rarer medium. Now we will be also understanding different situations when light goes from rarer to denser, what happened, when light goes from denser to rarer, what happened, and what happened if it passes normally. So there is one concept, let's have a look at it. So when we'll observe, there are three situations mentioned and shown it to you on screen. You can see first case is when light is going from rarer to denser medium. Now, as discussed, rarer medium is the one where the speed of light is greater than that of the denser medium. So let's have a look at the first image. It says if light is coming from rarer medium, which means let's say it's coming from air and it's entering into denser medium. Ideally, it should have gone this way. But will it go this way? If there would have been no two medium, then light would have gone this way, but there are two different medium to transfer a medium, so light is not going this way. And what happened when light goes from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. So we can see here in this case light is bending towards the normal. When light goes from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends towards normal. And if you observe, this is the angle of incidence and this is angle of refraction. So I can say that in this case angle of incidence is greater than angle of refraction. Now when we see the next situation, this is the situation which is exactly opposite of it. What happened when light goes from denser medium? Let's say light is coming from water and it's going into air. So ideally it should have gone this way, but let's see where it goes. So in the previous situation, it was going towards normal, and now you can observe that it's going away from the normal. So now when we'll have a look at the angle, this time angle of incidence is going to be angle made by denser medium, and angle of refraction is going to be angle made by the rarer medium. And we observe that this time it's angle of incidence which is lesser than angle of refraction. So you can see when light goes from rarer medium to denser medium, angle of incidence is greater than angle of refraction. When light goes from denser medium to rarer medium, angle of incidence is lesser than angle of refraction. From this, what do we infer? One common conclusion, I is not equal to R for sure. But another conclusion is that angle made by rarer medium is always greater than angle made by denser medium. So this is our common conclusion, whether light goes from rarer to denser or denser to rarer. If this conclusion is kept in mind, then we are sorted that angle made by rarer medium is always going to be greater than angle made by denser medium in case of refraction of light. Now, what if light goes normally? So we have seen in the case of reflection, when light goes normally, angle of incidence equals to angle of reflection, and there is no change in direction. Similar thing happened here also. So if you can observe in the third case, when light is passing normally means it's passing on the same path as that of normal, which means there is no separate normal. So you can see when light passes normally, it doesn't bend, it goes as it is. And in this case, I is equal to R, and we will get that I equal to R equal to 0, and there is no bending. So this is the case of light passing normally. So these were the three situations. The summary of the three cases here is shown on the next slide, and it goes like this. So when light goes from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends towards normal. It travels from denser medium to rarer medium, it bends away from normal. So basically we can see that when light is going from rarer to denser, it is bending towards normal. Denser to rarer, it is bending away from normal. The ray which is incident normally on the interface between two different media propagates undeviated from one medium to other medium, and there is no refraction. You can see the third situation. So as discussed, case 1, light going from denser to rarer, angle of refraction is greater. light going from rarer to denser, angle of refraction is lesser. So the summary is angle made by rarer medium is always going to be greater than angle made by denser medium. And when light is passing normally, there is no change in angle. So this was about basics of refraction of light. In the next video, we'll be discussing about the detail of what happens when light passes through a glass slab. So we'll talk about refraction of light through a glass slab in the next video. In the meantime, go through the video, and if you have any questions, do put it in the comment box. That's it from my end. Thank you and have a great time. Bye bye.